Hi, I have been asked to talk about work-life and balance today. And I believe there is no such thing as work-life balance. Not because I don't work and I don't have a life. It's because I believe it's only about presence. When we are fully present in doing whatever we do, we experience balance. And how do we do that? We can only experience balance and be present when we are internally aligned. And that is what I'll be exploring with you today. So as human, we try to juggle and manage a lot of stuff in daily life. So we manage and juggle externally so we can feel balance internally, right? And how do we do that? You can see in this slide, me time, marriage, work, family, everything you have to juggle and manage. And we use it through time, energy, and money. And how do we use that is by multitasking. Now, multitasking is no tasking if it is not done with full attention, presence, and awareness. So what happens? We try to do everything and end up doing nothing. We try to be everywhere and end up being nowhere. We try to do so much and end up being not much. So this, and this. We all go through that. So multitasking creates that stress. So how do we understand this analogy of balance? I'm sure you'd like to know that. So the great example I give about balance is a vehicle with 4 wheels. And how? Look at life like a vehicle with 4 wheels. If your car's exterior, interior, and structure is amazing and your car is without a wheel, how would that be? Can you move the car? I don't think so. Imagine having a Ferrari parked in your garage without the wheels. What do you do with that? You can't do anything with a car without the wheels. So, question here is, are our life wheels balanced? And I believe these are the 4 life wheels that need to be balanced. Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Physical for fitness, mental for focus, emotional for freedom, and spiritual for fulfillment. And when these 4 wheels are not aligned, what do? We end up blaming finances, fate, relationships, or career, right? We have to look for blame. We are logical human beings. So we are going to look for somewhere where we can blame why things are not working out. So how do we balance these 4 wheels? If one of them is not balanced, we have imbalance happening in our lives. And how I discovered with research and working with thousands of people globally, I understood one thing, that when we want to achieve this balance in our life and drive a Ferrari well, we have to be internally aligned. And what do we have to align? Our thoughts and our feelings. If our thoughts and feelings are not aligned, what do we experience? We experience external imbalance, chaos, havoc, mess. So what happens next? If these wheels, how are we going to balance these wheels? So I'm an alignment coach, energy expert, and emotionology expert. So I discovered that having the physiology and biochemistry background, I looked at the facts. That what does science say? Human physiology says 60 to 70% of human body is made of water. And 30 to 40% of the human body is made of other elements. Energetic facts say that we humans have emotions. We are emotional beings, and emotions are like water. So if we are 60 to 70% emotional being, then why do we end up focusing on the 30 to 40% only on the logical aspect of living? Why do we do that? Because we are analytical beings. We like to be analytical. We like to have tangible stuff. We like to have our facts right. So how do we do that? When we talk about energy and emotions. So the challenge here is the emotional understanding and processing. That is where the challenge comes in, that how do we process and understand the emotions? They are very challenging. Emotions are usually considered and perceived as weakness and vulnerability. We are wired to ignore the power of vulnerability so we can showcase the strength. And then ignore the connection and relation with other people. So once we learn to embrace the vulnerability, we learn to connect and relate better to ourselves and other people too. Now, I'm not saying that we have to show vulnerability. I'm only saying we have to embrace vulnerability. And how do we embrace vulnerability? so we can connect better and relate better to ourselves and to other people. So, ready for the experiment? Let's do an experiment. I want you all to close your eyes. And I want you all to think about an incident where you felt vulnerable, weak, not being able to relate to the situation, not being able to relate or connect anything externally or internally, and you're feeling your emotions deeply. Feel the feeling. Hear what you're telling yourself at that moment. Notice the physiology. What's happening to you? Take a deep breath and exhale. And now again go back to that experience, that vulnerable experience. And now this time, I want you to embrace it. I am here. I have a challenge. It is here to teach me something so I can grow in my life. You choose someone who is earned to hear your vulnerability. And you relate to this vulnerability and rise above. And then feel strong. Feel the feeling this time. Feel the emotion this time. And feel the physiology this time. What's happening? Take a deep breath and release and open your eyes. Welcome back. How was the experiment? So then we talk about experiments. I want you to look at these pictures. Look at that. We all have been there, right? Before interview, public speaking, going to places, family, marriage, relationships. We all have been through that. And what do we do in this situation? We are pretension experts. What do we do that? We suppress and we press and bury these emotions to show that we are strong people. That's what we're being told. We are wired that way. This is how we are wired to show our strength. So we suppress it. What happens when we bury these emotions? They go into our heart. So I want you all to place your hands on your navel. This is your stomach, right? Place. So what happens to these emotions? They travel to our heart. They suppress our feelings. And then it goes and messes up our head and thoughts. And what happens in the end? Chaos, imbalance. Everything externally and internally is imbalance, right? So what do? We sulk and become hulks, right? So we sulk and hulk and we bury every day this emotion very smartly because we are logically smart people. We need tangible stuff and we have to show strong. So we are going to do that. Now, when we do that, what's happening energetically? Have you ever thought about it? Everybody's quiet. Let's see what happens. So energetically, this is the power center of your body, which is your navel, your stomach. Do you remember this exercise we did? We took our hands, we placed it here, we felt the feeling, went into head and mess. This is what we go through every day. This is how we sulk. We bury everything underneath to show strong because we refuse to embrace vulnerability and we love to choose and stay in imbalance. It's our choice. So how is the classic example of that? Ready for that? Let's see. The classic example of that is a child not wanting to go to school. You remember that? I remember that very well with myself and my kids. Why? Not wanting to go to school, my stomach is hurting. So what is happening? Why is the stomach hurting? This is the question. Is the stomach really hurting? Or the feelings are hurting, or he's trying to relate his true feelings to the physical pain. And we all have done that. We try to relate our feelings to physical pain so we come across tangible, logical being. We need facts, right? So physically, we say it's hurting my stomach and we ignore the emotional aspect. So this example, if you looked, and I want you to think how many times this child shows up every day in our lives with us, every day. And what do we say? Shh, keep quiet, be strong, sulk and hulk. Become hulks. You have to show on strong. You can't show your vulnerability and you can't show weak. So what happens while doing that? Internal alignment misses out. Internally, you become misaligned. And what happens externally? You can figure this out. You're intelligent beings. If internal alignment is missing, external imbalance will show up. So, what do we do then? Why do we not embrace our true feelings? We have become masters of not listening to ourselves and denying. So we can blame the cause of imbalance externally. But where is the real imbalance? It's happening internally. And hiding and not embracing the true emotion. True feelings, true emotions are our truth. That's our true experience. That's our true expression. We are human beings, not machines. Remember the 60-70% and the 30-40%? We need to look for that balance. Every experience in life is related to your true experience. Feelings, true feelings. You feel them, you express them, right? Then why do we force ourselves to deny this experience? Success is an emotion. Failure is also an emotion. Sadness, anger, happiness, everything is emotion. It's not about emotion over logic. And it's not about thoughts over feelings. It's about aligning the thoughts and feelings. And it's about aligning the logic and emotions. If you align your logic and emotion, you experience the balance. And then you be present, fully present. When you align internally, you learn to be fully present. And when you're fully present, what do you experience? Balance, Lagom. That is the true balance. But what we do, we seek outside. So Rumi says, we carry inside us the wonders we seek outside of us. And reading that explains that what happens internally shows out externally. I wish you all a very happy, aligned living with your logic and emotion alignment and your thought and feel alignment. All the best.